So the talk of a price hike for video games has been talked about for probably close to a decade now. Games going from $59.99 to $69.99. And when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, now looks like maybe the most reasonable time for games to take a price hike. But is it okay? It's been it's been over a decade since the last time we had a boxing game. And the thing is I know people are so hungry right now to get the game in their hands that they'll say, look, I don't care how much the game costs or what state that it's in right now. I'll gladly take anything just so I can get my fix. But is that really the right mindset to have? Because ultimately, it doesn't help you, nor does it help anybody else as consumers. So the question is what will ESBC cost when it finally hits the shelves and for digital downloads? Let's talk about it. So I want to use Sony just as a start because we've already seen where they have kind of started to embrace a little bit of pricing model changes, right? Games like Ratchet and Clank came out at a $69.99 price tag for the PS5. Games like Horizon Forbidden West, which is going to be now pushed back, I think, until February, actually won't be really coming out with free next gen upgrades. But what does that mean for games like ESBC? Well, the fact of the matter is that the landscape is changing, right? ESBC will be releasing their game not only on PC, but Xbox and PS5. They are subject to whatever it is that Microsoft and Sony really want. If they decide that they want to take a little bit of extra off the top, then SCI may have nothing to do but to kind of comply, right? And that is no fault on SCI. That's just kind of the way that the business goes. But a lot of what affects pricing also depends on the community that's really asking for it. The thing is that we all know that certain things like supply and demand are technically going to affect what it is that your pricing model is going to reflect for the product that you're putting out. We know that. But that is where the community comes in. If the community is saying, I don't care what it costs, give me whatever now, that is how we end up with a CD Projekt Red cyberpunk type of situation, where you have games that are released that are completely unfinished, yet at a full price tag, and potentially having microtransactions. So when it comes to ESBC, we already know that there are going to be DLCs. That cat was let out the bag a long time ago by Ty Grisham, and I'm pretty sure that he wishes that he could take that back. But it's out there and we know about it. And we know how the community reacted when they found out about $4.99 DLCs. But you also do have to ask yourself that with the landscape of game pricing changing and potentially jumping for individuals who do have next gen consoles, potentially jumping to, $70 plus DLCs, plus the potential for season passes. Is that okay? I have the money to afford it all. But even still, you can't help but to feel like at a certain point that you're being kind of robbed, not necessarily robbed, but that you are being slightly taken advantage of as a consumer, right? Your money should matter. And yes, at the same time, a product should be able to charge what the product is worth. Now, SCI is in a very unique situation because they were initially an indie company that was in the business of creating a AAA game. But like I have told you guys many a times, and I would imagine that at this point, especially with the removal of early access, they don't see themselves as an indie company anymore. They are a AAA company with AAA funding. They have hired AAA developers and AAA talent to create a AAA game. You would almost think that that would incur a AAA price, but at what cost? But is there a fear that a heftier price tag could be laid on this game, especially when you look at the fact that they have already signed over 200 plus fighters? What is it going to take to recoup on what you have already put into it. One of the big things about being an indie company developing game is that you don't have to worry quite as much about these major milestones on profit expectations. That stuff isn't necessarily there because you're doing everything. A lot of stuff can be self-funded with smaller things coming in to help you grow. But when you remove early access, right? You look at this game as moving out of that phase. They're no longer in that indie company phase, and they've moved on to something bigger. But what does that growth means? Growth usually means that we need more money. Growth means that we could branch out a little more also. Now, I want everybody to understand, this is not me saying that SCI and ESBC have changed things up because they've grown so much to where they're going to poach your pockets. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying though is that SCI is in a unique situation. We haven't had a boxing game in over 10 years. And they look to be the spiritual successor to help bring back everything that we've always wanted. But at the same time, as a consumer, we cannot throw everything away simply because our want is so high right now. We have to stick to our guns and say, look, give us what we're worth. And I think Steel City is actually doing that. They have made changes to the game. They have implemented the things that the community wants. They have gone out their way to make sure that we stay informed on pretty much just about everything. But we don't know what the pricing model looks like. We don't yet have a full-blown release date. And I honestly believe that when they do release the actual solid release date, that they should couple that with an actual price tag also. That way we know exactly what we're walking into on what date. But again, I believe that Steel City is in a very unique situation. They have the opportunity to usher us backwards into a way that things used to be, where they would release a full-blown game that had everything in it. Okay. And at that point, a price tag, whatever you put on it, 70, 80, 90, 100 would be justified. But we have no idea what's going to happen at this point. We don't know what the pricing model is going to be for ESBC. For as far as we know, we could end up getting DLCs. We could end up getting 3 or 4 different versions, a gold, a bronze, and a platinum edition. And each one of those things will offer you something different because the gaming company has changed and they've found new ways to take the consumer's want and need for something and turn that into profit. The only thing that I'm asking is that SCI don't do that to us. Don't take the fact that we haven't had a game in so long and use that as a means to line your pockets. All right. If you really want this game to be successful, if you really want it to be successful, it won't be just about all of those things that have been implemented into the game. It won't be about the graphics and everything. It'll also be the way that you treat your consumer once the game has been released. And that's all I got. Look, let's continue to talk about this a little bit more down in the comment section. Appreciate y'all for always coming back. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace out.